discussing a very important issue. The topic at hand is honor killing. Does Islam allow honor killing? Does Islam support honor killing? Because Islam says there is no honor in killing. We have Brother Feras Marish, a khatib, a youth mentor, and a very important member of our community activism field in our show today to discuss this very important topic. So let's hear what Brother Feras says. Assalamoalaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much for being on our show, and it's a very important topic that we're discussing today.
Absolutely.
So tell me, what do you think about honor killing, or does Islam support honor killing?
Well, first of all, let me focus on the word killing. Unfortunately, Islam has been depicted as a religion of death. It's all about killing, it's all about death. But we really need to clarify that. Islam is about life, it's not about death. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this religion and all the other religions that were revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're meant to give life to people, not death. They're meant to give development. They're meant to provide means for prosperity and growth. So it's completely the opposite of the perception of death and destruction. So honor killing itself has no basis in Islam as a religion. And I'm not just saying those words based on my thoughts or just because we want to be defensive here. It is reality. We go back to our fiqh, we go back to our religion. Honor killing, it's basically, it's rooted in cultural acts. Whether, and it's not just in Arabia or in the Far East, or it exists all over. For different reasons, people practiced killing and sacrifice when they lived with no guidance from the Creator.
So why is there an impression that it only happens in Muslim countries or it happens in Muslim communities? Why?
Now, unfortunately, because first of all, it's magnified. So when it happens, everybody talks about it. Everybody's there waiting for these things to happen to say, look at what Muslims are doing. As a matter of fact, I was reading about a story just a couple of weeks ago about an honor killing in a Christian family in the Middle East. So maybe that's a proof that has nothing to do with Islam. It's the region, right? And again, it's been practiced all over the world, the idea of killing. So unfortunately, Islam is under the microscope. Maybe it's under attack by some people that want to show or portray Islam in a negative way. And this is why. And we have to be realistic. Most of the Muslim countries, they live in terrible conditions. And they're underdeveloped. They live in a condition of maybe ruled by tyrants, no democracy, so that causes the society itself to always drop in its values and its practices and its understanding of development. And we also, as we say all the time, they're even away from Islam. So their understanding it's also of Islam itself is very, very shallow. So they're not acting based on Muslim values. They revert back to the cultures and to the practices that existed in that region many, many years, even before Islam came to the region.
So I understand that Islam doesn't support honor killing. Mm-hmm. So why is there a perception that it happens only in Muslim majority countries?
Okay, first of all, every time we want to clear a misconception or misunderstanding or a claim against Islam, we always have to support it from the Book of Islam or the teachings of Islam that are agreed upon, authentic, and approved. So when we say Islam does not support honor killing, we really have to mention this holy ayah in the Surah Al-Ma'idah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, من قتل نفسا بغير نفس أو فساد في الأرض فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا ومن أحياها فكأنما أحيا الناس جميعا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this very important ayah, which every Muslim have to know and learn and understand, that if a person kills one soul without a justified proper reason, meaning, for example, if there's a ruling by the government or by the rule of law as a punishment because of an act committed of murder or what have you, that's a different, put law on the side. Mm-hmm. if anybody commits murder,
Like taking law in their hands, basically.
absolutely, if anybody commits murder, as if this person, if anybody commits murder of one person, as if this person killed الناس جميعا, all human beings. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, one soul is as valuable as every single soul on earth put together. So imagine if everybody knows, the whole world knows that Islam, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, a single soul is as important as the 7 billion souls on earth. So this is mass murder. So this is not, so murdering one soul in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the ruling of Islam, is a mass murder. You're actually killing every single human being on earth. So a religion that's teaching that values a single soul as important as the whole 7 billion souls put together, there's no way that this religion is encouraging a killing or honor killing. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, whoever saves one soul, as if this person have saved all of humanity. So this is a living proof. So we're not just saying it out of feeling, it's just because we want to get defensive. This is a real proof from Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not honor any kind of killing. It does not allow any kind of killing, especially in the fashion that we see happening. Why is it happening in the Muslim majority countries, as we said? Simply because they're not practicing their deen. And then let's be realistic here. As we said, unfortunately, most of the Muslim countries are underdeveloped, ruled by tyrants, tough economical conditions. So people in that condition, they're reverting back, and even education. I mean, a lot of ignorance, the poor education, people revert back to their cultures. And as we said, cultures existed throughout history. You look at it and you study it, you realize that killing, whether in a form of sacrifice, whether in a form of honor killing, whether in a form of protection, whatever it is, honor killing existed in all culture, pre-Islam and pre any kind of religion that we can or we know of. So
we will continue with the topic in our next segment. Stay tuned, we're talking about honor killing, and we will continue discussing this topic with Brother Feras Marish. Assalamualaikum, greetings of peace. We are continuing to talk about honor killing with Brother Feras Marish, a very important topic that Farina Siddiqui show is covering today. Brother Feras Marish, we spoke about honor killing, and you spoke about how Quran condemns the killing of any kind. Even one person killed is one way too many. It's like killing the entire humanity. So why do you think some countries have this cultural practice? And why do you think some of the people who actually do this, are perceived as Muslims only, or what would you say about it?
Right. Unfortunately, in our time and day, most of Muslim countries are considered underdeveloped countries. They live a very tough economical, in a very tough economical condition, even educational, democracy. Most of the countries are ruled by dictators and tyrants. So such condition is not suitable for creating people, free-thinking people that have the ability to learn, right? So Islam is knowledge, right? So you need to learn it. You need to have the free thinking and the proper condition to learn it and understand it. But when you live under such difficult conditions, ignorance prevails, and people tend to resort back to their cultures. Hearsay, this is what our fathers used to do, or tend to follow blindly without checking. So someone might use this to control others or to influence others and say, this is from Islam, people will just follow. So unfortunately it is ignorance, and this is why people practice it as culture, but they come and say, this is from our deen. On the other hand, again, we said, because it is being magnified by media, so look at what Muslims are doing. But we need to say, again, the practice of killing, did not just exist in Muslim countries, it existed everywhere. Everywhere we have cultures, everywhere we have civilizations, in older civilizations, you will see that such practice existed. It is the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Islam, and prior to Islam, that came to teach people to stay away from these practices.
Practices of Jahiliyyah, basically.
Absolutely. Practices of ignorance. Practices like, for example, in Egypt, they used to sacrifice young girls, throw them in the Nile, so it won't flood and destroy their crops. So they believed that if they throw young girls in the Nile, it will save them. And there are many, many practices in different civilizations where people will kill especially youngsters or women in the name of saving their crops or saving their lives, or in the name of prosperity, or in the name of pleasing their gods. So that practice is old, and it will always show up when our knowledge and understanding of Islam goes down. That's in Muslim countries, and elsewhere we'll always hear about it happening as well.
So, it involves mostly women. And I know that Islam protects women and their rights. So why does it always involve women?
Unfortunately, because by nature, women are viewed to be weak, and they get dominated by men. Unless men are told not to do it. We look at societies, or even in modern societies, in first countries, the rate of women abuse is still high. So even modern countries are not able to control or protect women as they should be protected. Now again, we go back to Islam, and we see what Islam and what Rasulullah ﷺ told us about women, and how he empowered women. So, and this is another evidence that honor killing is not just supported by Islam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala condemned it, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored women. And then we see honor killing, it's killing women. Most of the time it's women that are subjected to this. So it's when you look at it, it's definitely condemned, and it's definitely not supported by Islam. But again, because women, when knowledge decreases, when Iman decreases, when understanding of religion decreases, who pays the price? It's women and children are the ones that usually pay the price.
Oh, thank you so much, Brother Feras. Inshallah, we will continue with this topic, and we will keep talking about this with Brother Feras. I'm Farina Siddiqui from Farina Siddiqui Show. Stay tuned for more. Assalamualaikum, once again Farina Siddiqui Show, talking about honor killing with Brother Feras Marish. So Brother Feras Marish, we spoke about Quran condemning honor killing. There is no honor killing. And you spoke about Prophet supporting and providing freedom to women. So talk more about how Islam honors women and how women's rights are protected, not being killed or something.
First of all, in the honoring of women in Islam, if we look prior to Islam, men are always viewed as superiors to women. Women are viewed as subjects or properties to men. The first evidence that Islam honored women is Islam put men and women at the same level, equality. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in many ayat that إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَى, we've created you from a male and a female together. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Holy Quran that مَنْ عَمِلَ صَالِحًا مِّن ذَكَرٍ أَوْ أُنثَى, whoever does a good deed from male and female will get rewarded for their good deeds. So it doesn't matter if you're ذَكَر or أُنثى. فَالْمَحِيِّنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً, we provide them with a good life. So if you do a good deed as male or female, you'll get the same reward. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Holy Quran, Surah Isra, we have honored the offsprings of Adam, and the offsprings of Adam are ذَكَر and أُنثى, as explained in the Holy Quran. So in many ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts men and women at the same level. And this is the proof. If they're at the same level, that means no one is a property of the other, no one is more empowered than the other, and no one has the right to abuse the other. So you look at it, and there are many hadith of Rasulullah said, النساء شقائق الرجال. Men and women are in closest meaning, they're equal, they're partners. And when you're partners, that means you have equal rights. So if your rights are equal, if your rewards and judgment is equal, if your dignity is equal, that means the idea of men abusing women, controlling women, and taking advantage of women, it goes completely against the principles of Islam.
But there is one more ayah that talks about men being the caretakers or qawamun over women. So that is the ayah that actually provides spreads more misconceptions in the community by people who actually want to taint the name of Islam. So what would you say about that? Ar-rijaluna qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa. Men are caretaker or have one level up on women. Do you think this is about suppression or oppression of women?
First of all, this ayah is severely misunderstood. I have a long khutbah on this, and I encourage people to watch it. But to keep it short and sweet and to the point, الرجال قوامون على النساء. The word qawwam, it's an exaggeration form from qama. Qama means standing up. الرجال قوامون, they're continuously standing up for women. What does that mean? So this is completely new understanding now. It's always been perceived as qawwam, that means they are higher in status, which is completely wrong. This is again another proof of ignorance that we have as Muslims because we don't understand our Quran. This is what culture told us. See, that's what culture, so they take Islam, combine it with ignorance, makes us use it based on our cultural understanding. And this is what happens all the time. So qawwam, back to the word qawwam, continuously standing up. So if you think about it, if a man is superior to woman, if a man is the king, would he be standing up amongst his people or sitting down and everybody standing up to serve? So the person that's serving is the one that's standing up, and the person that's being served is the one that's sitting down. So Rijal is continuously standing up to do what? To continuously provide, to continuously serve, to continuously protect, to continuously work for women. So it's completely different idea here. So Rijal Qawwamun al-Nisa, the men are continuously standing up to work hard and to provide and to protect and to give. That doesn't mean they're better in status.
So thank you so much for so beautifully explaining this ayah, because yes, there is a lot of misconception within Muslim community itself that this particular ayah talks about giving one level up to women.
Absolutely not.
And again, it's about ignorance. So what would you say to our audience watching? Where should be the right kind of source to actually the proper understanding of their own deen to actually spread the right kind of message?
And subhanAllah, it's always the problem. Quran, again, Islam is a religion of science, and it's right now we take it as a cultural thing. We hear from this and hear from that. We don't verify our sources, and this is causing a lot of problems. So anybody will say this is from Islam. Islam is a religion that requires real talents. We need talents to study Islam, to explain Islam, to study the Quran, and this is why I encourage people to encourage their children to study fiqh. We read old books of fiqh, their explanations of Islam at a couple hundred years ago. So that understanding itself might be invalid. So we need people from our day and time that have the talent, that have the brains for it, to study and specialize in Islamic knowledge. Where do we get our proper knowledge? Alhamdulillah, there are always ulama, and there are always people with good knowledge that we could go back to, as long as we go to the right source, we verify the information. And I always say it, if you're sick, you're not going to go to a butcher, right? You need to go to a doctor. So if I want to talk Islam, I want to understand Islam, I want to learn Islam, let's go to the right sources, and let's verify our sources so we can understand our deen, so it can enrich our lives, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much for your time, Brother Feras, and we will continue talking about different topics on our show. Thank you for being on our show. Islam is the religion of peace. We just don't say it, we invite you to talk more, learn more, explore more. Understand by asking questions to the right sources, and to just simply by just simply entering a masjid to ask those questions. I'm Farina Siddiqui, your host for